A stylist in a pure sense, late Jaisimha added panache to everything he did. This right-hand batsman has continued to leave a legacy that have inspired generations. Today, remembering him on his death anniversary, let us talk to his family members to know about the legendary person Jaisimha was. Today, we are talking to his loving daughter-in-laws, Mondira Jaisimha and Ritika Jaisimha. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
All right,
Thank
so let's
you.
get started.
Yeah.
So, Jaisimha was not just a sportsman, but he was like this true spirit of, cricket. So, what were his values in and around life?
I'll begin by saying that Dad was an extremely humble person. Extremely humble, extremely generous, and very, very family oriented.
Lovely.
And I think the greatest thing he taught all of us was integrity.
Wow.
And that it showed in his game, it showed in his personal life, in his relationship with other people. He was absolutely fantastic.
So, those were his values, being humble and, the integrity a person holds. I think that's one of the core elements, a person with stature and a person with talent must, get through.
Yeah, he never let his celebrity status get to him.
I think that's very important.
He was the same with everyone. He never made it. There was no difference between a rich man, a poor man, a friend, an acquaintance, someone he didn't know. It was all the same.
Lovely. I think that's what made him people's favorite, like everybody in the, industry, they all were like, Mr. Jaisimha. I think that's that was one of his.
Yeah.
So I would like to add something. He was also very approachable.
Okay.
So when I talk about my family, when they met him for the first time, of course, everyone knew who Jaisimha was,
Yes.
right? And when they met him for the first time, they were quite taken aback and they were like, wow, what a humble, down-to-earth man he is, and very, very approachable.
Despite
there
the
were no airs
fame.
about him. Yes, there were no airs about him. Like, yeah, I'm Jaisimha, yes, but I'm also a nice person,
I
and
get
I'm
it.
approachable.
I get it. I
That's-
think that's lovely to, have a person who's like that, despite
Yes.
the fame he's gained for himself.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So his love for the sport influenced generations. Like it just created a wave of impact. So how did it feel like when you became a part of his family?
Actually, because as I said, his celebrity status was not a big thing in the family.
He never made it a thing.
He never made it a big thing. So there was never,
Yes.
Dad's come home, open the door, get him his tea. All that was never, it was never like that. He was just one of us. And he loved so deeply that it was absolutely wonderful. In fact, even when he was dying, he made Ritika, who was then new to the family, made her feel so much a part of what was happening.
So
And we used to take him for his chemotherapy, not chemotherapy, his radiation. And Ritika would go one day, I would go one day, we take it in turns. And he never made anyone feel unwanted,
I get it.
So yes, he was a huge cricketer. Yes, we were all aware of that. But at home, he was just Dad.
So sweet. I think that's what makes a person more close to you. Even though you've come like from a different family, you felt like humble, you felt very taken away by this person and his family. I think that's really lovely.
Absolutely.
Okay, so after his matches, maybe after he played his game and all, when he came back home, how would it be like? Did you ever get to experience any of the moments?
See, unfortunately, when he played, I was a baby. And so obviously, even though I knew the family, I obviously don't remember. But I knew him more as a national selector from the cricket point of view. So I got a lot of opportunity growing up watching matches with him. But truth be told, neither Ritika nor I are very keen on cricket. So it was just wonderful to go there and be treated like a child with all the other cricketers and, playing games with them and all. It was very sweet. But Dad liked to take us
Take
along.
you along,
Yeah.
yes.
So his cricket, as I said, maybe he played a few league matches here and there as MCC, which is the Maratpalli Cricket Club. So
Right here.
Right here, yeah. So that was, I never went for those. But when he came home, it was just normal. There were no airs and graces, as I said. So humble. So humble.
Lovely. And as you've mentioned, you've known him since you were a child. How did the whole thing happen? How did you exactly know him since you were a child?
Okay, so this is a very interesting story. My mother was in Koti Women's College.
Okay.
And my mother-in-law, Jayanti Juni, was in Nizam College. And they met because they both used to take part in elocution competitions.
Lovely. Okay.
And my mother-in-law always won.
Okay.
And when my mother came from Koti and she was part of one, my mother won. And
Competition.
The competition. And because of that, they got to know each other.
Okay.
And the other thing was that at that point of time, my mother-in-law was going around with Dad. My mother had already met my father and they were already going around. So the four of them became this little group. And they would meet very often, etc.
Lovely.
Then they got married. Then the children came. And every year, at least once a year, we either met where we were, which was Bombay or Calcutta, in Hyderabad, or in Vizag, where my grandparents come from.
A ritual.
It was a ritual. It was absolutely a ritual. So I've known them all my life. And as I said, we never knew Dad as a cricketer. We
I
just
get it.
knew him as that. For then he was Uncle Jay for me.
Okay.
But he was nothing more than he didn't have this stature or anything.
I get
He
it,
was
I
just this
get it.
lovely uncle that used to take us
I
for ice
know.
creams
I
and long
get-
drives. So,
Long drives, I think, are everybody's favorite.
yeah.
All right. So, like Jaisimha also shared an excellent rapport with Mansoor Ali Khan Patodi back then. I mean, it was spoken about a lot. When you now Google it, their friendship is like up there, and So, what was their relationship like?
Oh my God, they had a wonderful relationship. It was, apart from the cricket, which was fabulous because they shared a rapport on the field as well, they had a wonderful relationship. They would meet as often as they possibly could. In those days, of course, there were no mobile phones
Yes.
and things like that. But whenever they met, it was a riot.
Really?
It was a riot. They discussed cricket, of course. They laughed, they joked, they enjoyed a lot of music together.
Beautiful.
So, and they've been on many trips together, of course, because of the cricket. And their relationship was very special. Very, very special.
It's been talked, it is even spoken about right now, like when people refer to like the cricket friendships. I think their friendship tops up the list, and it's like there, everybody
Absolutely.
knows the relationship about them.
So they were known as the lion and the tiger because
Oh, wow.
Jaisimha means lion.
Lion.
And Patodi, as you know, his nickname was tiger.
Tiger.
So the lion and tiger surely were a loud duo when they were together.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Cherished for generations,
Absolutely.
in fact.
Yes, most
Yes.
certainly. They were cherished,
Lovely.
and their friendship was something very unique. No
I get
matter
it.
where they met, when they met, it was a riot.
Beautiful. I think now in a generation where we live, we need to constantly keep speaking to others to keep in touch. In their generations, even if they might have not stayed in touch for a while, but when they met, I think they relived all the time, they might have not spent with each other.
It was like they were never apart.
Oh, beautiful. Lovely.
yeah.
Friendship goals, hashtag.
Yeah. Hashtag, yeah.
So it so happened that late Jaisimha Garu, in fact, picked Kapil Dev he was the one who selected him. And then we know the legendary story that Kapil Dev has given India and the world of cricket. So in that very moment, how did he react when he got to know that, India won the World Cup and Kapil Dev was the captain?
Oh my God, he watched that match on television, and I think he felt very proud that he was part of Kapil Dev's transition,
Lovely,
if that's the
yes.
right word. And In fact, when he had his benefit match, and when my husband Vivek had his benefit match, Kapil Dev came and very sweetly came and played for them. Never took any money or anything. It was, but that was dad. He made relationships that last a lifetime.
I think that's what matters.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So Kapil Dev was very, very up in his list of happy people. Do you want to add something?
Yeah, sure. So basically, when you talk about dad and his contemporaries, it was never about money. They never played for money, right? So they played for the love of the game, right?
Beautiful, yes.
So a lot of cricketers after that learned a lot from them. So as Mona was saying, that couple came and played for the benefit
Yes.
matches and never took a penny from them. I suppose they did learn from their seniors, such as Dad and Patodi,
Yes, I get it.
Uncle Buggy and all, the contemporaries. Kapil was selected to play in 1978 and they won the World Cup in 1983.
Yes.
So Dad, I'm sure, would have been like on top of the world.
Yes.
Completely, like, absolutely ecstatic about the fact that, yes, there is this Kapil Dev who we had selected.
And
you
is
know,
right there making India proud.
And here he is,
Yes.
winning the World Cup,
Yes.
right?
It was India's victorious,
Yes,
win.
absolutely. Yeah.
Beautiful. And that must have been a very ecstatic feeling, like wow, he did it. They did
Yes,
it. We
yes.
did it. Yeah. Beautiful.
Another achievement.
I know.
Let's
Yes.
add to that list, yes?
Yes,
Yet
lovely.
another achievement.
Lovely. So I think, although you've mentioned in one of the interviews, VVS Lakshman, I think in his Chennai camp, was trained by Jaisimha Garu. And apparently to the camp, he used to go on a cycle to, train the kids and let them play. So was that a simple stature that he held? Like, he was very simple and humble. That was his character?
That was him. That was
Totally.
him. That was him. It didn't
Testified
matter.
and
Yeah. He didn't need to have a Mercedes to take him to camp or anything.
Beautiful.
And one of his, I must mention this, one of his joys in life was teaching children.
beautiful. The game, the sport.
Yeah, he just loved it. So he spent all his free time, once he stopped playing and he was not a national selector and things like that, spent his free time having these camps
Yes.
and training young children. And which is why we have now started the ML Jaisimhas Sports Foundation.
Lovely.
Yeah, which is for underprivileged children,
Boys and girls.
boys and girls.
Okay.
And it's not just for cricket, it's for any sport.
So what is the foundation about?
The foundation is about, it's my mother-in-law's dream, which is to
Sweet.
fulfill dad's dream, is to have this foundation and raise enough money to be able to allow children who are good at the sport, who can't afford the equipment, the fees, whatever it is, for us to be able to uplift them and give them a chance.
Lovely.
Yes.
So how does one approach the foundation?
Well, the approach is actually through Vidyut, which is Ritika's husband.
Okay.
And he's in charge. And is to call him or go to what used to be his academy in next to Bantia Gardens.
Okay.
And you can sign up there.
That's lovely to
And just to
know.
add to this.
Yeah.
So basically, this foundation is for the underprivileged, talented boys and girls.
Like-
Right? You can also go onto the website.
Okay.
So it's called the ML Jaisimhas Sports Foundation and get more information.
Lovely.
regarding
All right. So
this.
you all know now if you want to lend a help to somebody who's talented in sports. I think
Yes, and we are
you all
also
can.
looking for sponsors actually.
All right. Any sponsors
sponsor
watching
these
this video?
kids. Yes.
Lovely.
We would love it. We would really appreciate it.
All right. That's
Yes.
lovely. All right. Moving ahead. So now, after watching the movie 83, we've all seen a beautiful love story between Kapil Dev and his wife. So what was it like between your father-in-law, mother-in-law back in the cricket days? No phones and, a very minimal contact must have been when you must have gone to the matches. What was their budding love story like?
Okay, it's very sweet. If you, as you can well imagine, I mean, in those days, it was not allowed.
I know.
You couldn't have a boyfriend. And Mum's father, Mr. Jayavant Rao, was a very, very strict father. and she was the eldest daughter, and so her going out at night and things like that was just not allowed. But they used to sneak out, and during the day they spent a lot of time together, which was obviously because night, as you can imagine, it wouldn't have
Yes.
been allowed. But it was very sweet. I remember this one story where my dad had jaundice, and he
Okay.
was in hospital. And I don't think they were married. No, obviously not. They were not married. And mum wanted to go and see him in hospital, but she couldn't go alone because she wasn't allowed. So she took my mother with her.
Okay.
And she said to my mother, "You can't talk. You can't see what we're doing. You can't see anything.
Okay.
You have to sit with a newspaper
Okay.
and covering your face.
Okay.
And when I tell you we have to go, we will go."
Okay.
So my mother sat with the newspaper. Unfortunately, when she picked up the newspaper, she picked it up ulta. So she couldn't read anything. It was all ulta. And she just sat there staring at this paper. I can't remember how long it was, but that was the kind of love story it was, you know.
So cute.
Yeah, yeah.
That's actually, I think, making it like more prettier, more cuter now when we think back, sit down and, Arey, we did that, we did this. I think that's what makes a relationship special between two people.
Yeah.
Really cute.
Yeah.
So that's it about him. I think we've learned a lot about how he was as a person, how much cricket meant to him, and later on in his life also. How were his final days? We know he's been through something during his final days. So how was he as a person?
Oh my God! Even when we knew he was dying or going, he never showed us any stress.
True legend.
True legend. He just allowed us to bully him, if that's the right word, into going and seeing doctors who he hated, into injections which he did not like, into going to hospital every day, which he just couldn't take it. It used to cause him stress to go to a hospital, but he took it like a Trojan. I mean, he was amazing. Ritika, would you agree?
Absolutely,
I mean, he was just amazing. And in the car, while driving we used to go all the way to Apollo in Jubilee Hills for his radiation from this house. And he would laugh all the way and joke with us all the way. There was no problem. The only problem we had with him was when we asked him to take off his Sai Baba necklace for the radiation,
Okay.
which he didn't want to take off. It was a gold necklace with a little tiny little Sai Baba idol and a picture. But apart from that, his final days, we had problem with his food because he lost his appetite. He just couldn't eat. He spent a lot of time sleeping,
I get it.
but he wanted someone to be with him. He didn't want to be, if he opened
alone.
his eyes, he wanted someone to be sitting there. And it was either Ritika or me or mum or one of the boys, somebody sitting there. But I
He
have
wanted to
tell
stay
you
close with his family.
Yeah, but I have to tell you this story, and the more I think about it, it brings tears to my eyes. A few days before he died was my son's birthday,
Okay.
my younger son's birthday. And he insisted, even though he was going through radiation, he was in a bad way. He insisted that we had a party. And we kept saying, "No, Dad, you're not well, don't do it." And he said, "No, call whoever you want. I want Dhruv's birthday to be celebrated." So we organized a cake and called a few people and did that. And Dad sat through the whole thing. And the more I think about it, the more I'm sure he must have been in pain. And because the cancer had spread by then, But he sat through it and he made sure that Dhruv had a good time, that all of us were happy. And the next day he called me and he said to me, "Mona, I think you need to take the boys and go away. We used to live in Goa then.
Okay.
I don't want them to see me in this state." And I kept saying, "Dad, how can I leave
very
you?" Because
heartfelt moment, I think.
Ritika and I were looking after him. And he said, "No, just go. Just take the boys and go." So last minute, where do we get tickets? And then those days there was no direct flight to Goa. So Vivek drove us down, and dropped us and came back immediately on the Monday. On Tuesday, he called me and said, Mona, come.
Yes.
And I said, Dad, I've missed the flight for today. I can't come today. I'll come tomorrow. And he said, come tomorrow, but come. But by the time I landed, he had already died.
I think that one moment where he felt like, I need her now. I need my family with me.
Yeah, that was horrible. But they kept him for me. I got my chance to hug him and say bye-bye. But it was very
I
sad.
think, yeah, I totally get it.
It was too quick. You know, we found out, we found out on May 23rd that he had cancer.
And then
And
July
he died
7th.
on the 7th of July. So,
It was a very quick span.
yeah. He was just 60 years
But
old.
I think in it,
understand anything, before we could understand anything,
He was just 60 years old.
galloping cancer had just taken over, and very painful. Very
know.
painful, of
But
course, for
I
him, but
believe-
even for the family members, for all of us.
yes.
Yeah, I don't think we can ever forget that day when, he left us.
Very painful. I think it's like one
Yeah.
piece of your heart just out there. And
I feel so blessed that he held my hand. He kept holding my hand, refusing to let go. I really feel that he was just telling me, like, yes, that he's welcomed me. I'm welcomed into the family, and
yes.
that, he really loves me. That meant a lot, actually.
I think in a generation where we now see the families and the daughter-in-laws don't really get along, I think he held his family together. He
He
wanted,
surely did.
I think you became more of his daughters than, just
Yes,
daughter-in-laws.
yes, undoubtedly.
That tells a lot about a person and his
Absolutely, yes.
upbringing.
In fact, the funny story, when we got married, when Vivek and I got married, after the wedding, we had a small cocktail party. And he pulled me and Vivek and he said to everybody, he said, please listen to me. Please meet my daughter and my son-in-law.
That's a very strong statement.
Yeah.
I wonder how your husband must have felt right then.
I've never asked him.
I don't think we should ask
No,
him
no.
either.
We'll be happy with the feeling of it.
Feeling of it.
I think that must have been a really, really heartfelt moment for you
Yeah.
when he called you his daughter.
Yeah. And he treated me like one. He never
Beautiful.
had any daughters, but he treated both of us. He loved Ritika as much as he loved me. It was amazing. Amazing.
Lovely. So I think now moving ahead from him, I've seen you all also doing your own share of giving back to the world and being there for people. So what is your service all about? How did it start and what exactly are you doing right now?
Yeah, so the best person to answer this would be Ritika. So
All right.
over to her.
How Vandana and Santosh
Okay, so
started.
okay, that's a good idea. I'll introduce it. A few years ago, this friend of mine, Santosh, called me and said, "Why don't you start this business with me? It's an elder care business, and please, I'd love for you to look after Hyderabad." And I kept saying no. I had just come out of working for Bill Gates on
Wow.
HIV. Yeah. So, and the organization shut down, and so I was out of a job. So I got into a bit of a, psychological, like a depression, and I kept saying, no, I'm not interested. Then during the pandemic, he called me again, and I suddenly said, I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting down quietly. Let me do something. And so so we had a discussion with him, and I decided that yes, I think this is a good idea. I discussed it with my father and my sister, and they said, listen, go for it, because it's a huge social need. So immediately I put the phone down and I rang up Ritika and I said, Ritika, we have this opportunity, let's do this. And without batting an eyelid, she said, yes, let's do it. She didn't ask me any questions. She didn't say who, she didn't say what, nothing. And that was the beginning of it.
Lovely.
Yeah. And so we put it all together, and we started the end of January. So
January of
this year.
It's pretty new.
Yeah,
It's
we're
a
very
startup
new.
baby.
Yeah, we're
Really
little
nice.
baby.
So
Yeah,
what is it
Yeah,
about?
Just a minute. Yeah.
So Elder Aid comes in as a proxy child for the senior citizens, for the elderly people.
Okay.
The services that we provide are the concierge service, wellness, and health.
Okay.
So we have care managers under us who we train, who come in, as I told you, as a proxy child for them. So these senior citizens who are alone or are not alone, but their children are busy
In their
in their
lives.
life.
and-
So our care manager will come in and do all their concierge work.
Okay.
From buying groceries to vegetables to paying the
Lovely.
bills to doing their bank work to the property tax, uh, helping them with the online stuff, taking them on hospital visits, social visits, supervising handyman, services. So such things which
Everything a family member indeed
have-
would do
yeah.
for them. Lovely.
would have had to do, our care manager takes over, right? Then the other service is the caretaker. We also provide caretakers,
Okay.
ones who can stay with them 24/7, and we also have the nursing services.
Okay, for somebody who's sick.
Yes. Apart from that, we have in-house, like the doctors who come and make home visits to see the patients, and we also have the wellness program where we have events which are held online twice or 3 times a month, where you can have doctors coming and talking about something, or we have a Bollywood night with music. Then you have yoga instructors coming and talking to them. So it could be anything. So what happens is these senior citizens, these older people, get to meet other people too at the same time, right?
They have a social interaction, a gathering.
Exactly. So this care manager service is very popular along with the caretaker service.
Okay.
Extremely popular because a lot of people now have started realizing the importance of having someone, especially the children.
Yes.
They realize the importance of having someone to look after their parents, even if it's just once or twice a week.
I get it.
It means a lot to them.
Yeah.
And we give weekly reports to the children about their parents or grandparents.
All right.
Right.
About what is being done and what is happening.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
In the future, Mondira and I are planning to also open an old age home.
Lovely. Beautiful idea.
Because, yes, this is the need of the hour.
Yes.
A lot of people have been asking us. There have been a lot of inquiries. And hopefully, we shall.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
yes.
Hopefully, we shall
All
succeed
power to
in
you.
doing that. Thank you.
Yes.
The other idea is that we are also planning to do what we call the Senior Citizens Mela.
Okay.
So basically what this is, we are going to target colonies
Okay.
and invite people to become members, and where we can have games, and where they can play games, or where they can, just have a potluck.
A jolly
Where
time.
A jolly time. Every person can maybe get their own dish there and serve it to other people, play games, learn how to paint, do yoga or whatever, karaoke,
chill time.
Play Pictionary, so whatever they want to do.
Lovely,
and
beautiful.
they get to meet other people. So hopefully that also will happen
Yes.
soon.
It's a beautiful idea. I think both the ideas are very beautiful, especially the Mela idea. I think it'll be a really nice act to engage them and, get them
Yes,
to
yes.
forget their whatever blues and have fun.
So we also have something called the Care Sathi program, which is something that's new. We're just bringing it up now, where we are asking young adults to sign up with us and be the proxy grandchild. So while the care manager is the proxy child, we are trying to get people to be the proxy grandchild, where they can come and read to you, teach you how to use social media, like Zoom calls. So
I
I
get
don't know how
it.
to do Zoom. So I can get a volunteer or the Care Sathi to come and teach me how to use Zoom so I can talk to my son in New Jersey, for example.
Beautiful.
Right. So then I can learn how to do WhatsApp.
I think our generation would quite be interested in that.
Absolutely. And they make a little pocket money on the
Yeah.
side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a beautiful idea too. I think the whole proxy child, proxy grandchild idea, when their children are working abroad or away from them, they would want to have assurance that their parents are fine, that
Yeah,
somebody is looking
absolutely.
after them. I think it's a
Absolutely.
beautiful idea for such, beings to know somebody is taking
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
So
Thank
now
you.
how-
Mondira, don't you think when our clients talk about how lonely they've been and how our care managers go and keep them company, it really means a lot to them.
Yes.
And not only to them, but also to the children, because there is someone who just is there to keep them company. There's nothing else to do for the care
Mere
manager
company.
who comes in as a proxy child. You know, they're just there to keep them company.
Yes. I think that means a lot to them at that age. Somebody's there talking to you, sitting with you,
Yes.
giving you that minimal care and, you know, that affection.
And for us, when we get calls from these clients, right, saying that Madhav and Shrikant are just amazing people who just were sitting here and they entertained us and they kept us company and they were talking about whatever we felt like talking about. You know, it means a lot.
A lot.
And
yeah.
the fact that when they say that, thank you, they actually call to say thank you for this brilliant service because
Beautiful.
they feel safe and secure.
They feel loved more like the even.
Yes. A lot of people don't realize this.
Yes.
You know, it's that when they're lonely, that's the reason why they go into depression,
Yes.
right? It's the loneliness, I guess, more so
When
than
there's
anything else.
when they're just there for themselves, I think the thoughts get to them, and
Exactly, and the children are away. And even the children, when they call us and say thank you, and they call Mondira and they call me and they say thank you so much. You know what? For us, it's like, yes, we've done
it's an
something good.
achievement.
It
For
is.
sure
For us,
it
we
is.
do feel like, yes, right. You know, we were able
We're
to
doing
help someone.
something good.
We
Yes.
were able to help someone, and that's it.
They say, to change the world, you need not take big steps and, go heavy. I think each small change that you make makes a difference for a person.
Yeah.
It might look like a small change to you, but for them, it might mean the world.
See, you have to put yourself in their shoes.
Yes.
The key word here being empathy. You know, if you don't empathize, they don't need your sympathy for sure.
They
But
need you to empathize.
empathize,
Yes.
you know. And if you are empathetic, you'll understand where they're coming from.
You'll understand what they're going through.
Exactly. And our care managers do just that. In fact, we are training our caretakers also.
So
on
you
the same
provide
line.
training as well?
So yes, we provide training for caretakers, and so once they go through the training, they'll be certified caretakers.
Okay.
They'll get a certificate from ElderAid,
Okay.
and yeah.
So what is the training process about? What exactly are the qualities that you look for in a caretaker or a manager?
Empathy. That's
Empathy.
all. For a care manager, of course, that person has to be educated,
Yes.
you know, because the care manager does take them for hospital visits, and if the doctor has prescribed some medicines, the care manager needs to know what medicines are being prescribed and, what medicines to be given when. Basically, we just look for someone who's empathetic.
Someone who can
That's
understand.
it.
Yeah. And for the caretaker, we try and ensure it is someone who is trained by us
Okay.
on caring for an elderly person, whether that person is bedridden or not, whether that person needs help with a bath, with feeding, with diaper changing. We do all that. So it's someone who stays with them 24/7, and therefore someone who should be able to talk to them as well. Not someone who does their work and then sits on their telephone all day and ignores the older person. So we try and teach them that empathy and make them talk to them, even if they're talking about their own lives, or the
I get
troubles
it.
they face or whatever it is, because most of them do come from a poor background. We mustn't brush over that. They don't provide maid services. Like, they won't wash your dishes and things
I
like
get it.
that. They're there just to look after the old person.
I get it.
So we are looking for people who want to become caretakers
Okay.
and are interested in this job, so we can train them, and the training is for free.
Okay.
It's,
They don't really have to pay.
they don't have to pay for anything, provided they stay in Hyderabad or Secunderabad area, because we cannot provide any lodging or what you might call it.
I get it.
You
You prefer locals of Hyderabad.
Locals
and
of
Secunderabad.
Hyderabad
I
and
think it'll be
Secunderabad.
easier for the person to move around the city and,
That's right.
Yes.
So we are looking for people to train, and we'll provide certificates to them once the training period is
is
over.
done.
Yes.
That's a lovely idea. Not just like the training might not just be useful professionally, personally also. It might
Absolutely.
affect the
Yes,
person
yes,
and the way they
yes.
look after people.
Yes.
It's a beautiful idea. But now that I've learned that, you've taken care of your father-in-law, your family, I think that somewhere has impacted your life in looking after people and caring for them.
Definitely.
You know,
Both, including our respective fathers. I mean, Mona, she lost her father unfortunately earlier this year.
sorry to hear.
I lost my dad 2 years ago. And yeah, just makes you think, like sometimes wonder, that I wish there was someone there to look after him. Because it's not possible to be with the person 24/7,
Yes.
right?
You have your,
It's not
sometimes
possible.
your own duties might come in the way
Right.
of being with a certain
Exactly.
person.
So those days we used to think about it, like, we used to talk about it, like, oh my God, I wish there was someone who would just sit with my dad and chat with him about Raj Kapoor or Hindi movies and cricket that
Yes.
he loved. Yes. And I'm sure it's the same with Mona's dad. Like, when he was sick,
Yes.
it's not possible to be with the person 24/7, and we understand that. Right? And the feeling that the children go, like, they have this guilt in them, especially children who stay abroad, right?
Yeah.
That they've left their parents behind and they're alone. But they also had their lives to lead.
Yes. I
Right?
think that's when your entire organization comes ahead
That's
saying
right.
that just get guilt free, we're there to do it for
Yes.
you.
They need to know that we are there to look
Yes.
after their parents.
Lovely.
Also, I'd like to add, I think our relationship with our parents apart, we also had a relationship with our grandparents, both Ritika and me. So we learned on the job how to look after elderly people, how to be with them, their needs, their loneliness. So that has been something that has been ingrained in us, let's say, by our respective parents.
Yes.
So that comes very handy when we are working with the elderly.
I get it.
And then training people to look after them as well. So
Because you know how it feels to have an elderly at home
Yes,
and how much
yes.
affection and care they need.
absolutely, and at the same time, how difficult they can be as well.
Yes.
Which is
I'd
why
agree.
that empathy is so
I'd agree.
important.
Yes.
Which is why that empathy is so important.
Yes. They become this little baby,
Absolutely, that's
They
the
say,
word.
say
Yeah.
true that
Second childhood.
I can relate to it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So now what has been your inspiration in life? Like both of you must have had some inspirational point in life about a person, an incident. What has been an inspiration to you in life?
For me, I think it's Mother Teresa. I spent a part of my childhood in Calcutta. And one of the things we used to do was go to her Prem Sadan and Missionaries of Charity. And the work that she did was just phenomenal. And
Still not forgotten.
yeah, as children we used to go there and help. And I've met her.
Wow,
And
lovely.
yeah, she was just something else, and I was so happy when she got her sainthood, because she deserved it so much, because she was a saint.
You've been there, seen that.
Yeah, she picked up people from the road, not just people, children, unkempt, unclean people from the road.
Even people with
bathed them.
vitiligo, when they
Yeah,
had rumors
yeah.
saying that you're not supposed to touch them.
Leprosy.
Yes.
I mean, she did it all. She did it all. She did it with a smile on her face, and I'm sure she fought many battles. But she is definitely my inspiration.
Lovely. And yours?
Well, it is Mother Teresa also, because I've had the honor of meeting her. The other person, honestly, and it might sound very cliched, but it is my dad. Because
Lovely.
I remember so my grandparents have always stayed with us. And when my grandfather passed away, my grandmother, she needed some company, right? We were there, yes, but we were also busy with our own lives. And my dad, at that moment, decided that, okay, her two sisters who were staying alone, he got them over. So in the end, we were looking after 3 old people at home,
I get it.
And, having 3 old people who can be rather difficult,
Yes.
Each one has their own personality.
And their
Right?
own tantrums.
And their own tantrums. And yes, we were allowed to complain that, okay, now this is too much. But he said, yes, you're allowed to complain to me, right? But remember, there'll come a time when, I'll also be in that state. That is, my dad will be in that state. How would you feel if someone behaves like this with me? So
Yes.
just remember that and look after them.
That's
And
it.
that for me was like, okay, a point where I was like, yeah, my dad, he's taught me something very valuable indeed.
Yes. Lovely. And what is one advice that you would like to give the younger generation? Not just about, maybe taking care or anything. In general, what would be your 2 cents for them?
Take responsibility for your actions.
I think our generation lacks that. But
All
lovely.
right? Enough of excuses made.
Yes.
I will not compare our generation with the new generation because times, have changed and it won't be fair. But having said that, I think the new generation needs to take responsibility for their actions,
Correct.
right? That's it.
Once you start taking responsibility, I believe a lot of things will change in and around you.
Exactly. And stop blaming the environment, stop blaming other people. And if you want to make a change, you be the change.
Correct. Lovely. And yours?
Mine is, I think that I would like integrity. Because if we are not honest with ourselves, if we are not, like I said about dad, if we are not humble, we are not going to get very far.
Yes.
As a child, we have to learn these things, and I'm hoping and praying. I mean, I know that I'm sure that at home they're taught these things, but I know this is a very silly thing to say, but we were taught moral science in school.
Yes.
And that has stopped completely. But we learnt a lot. We really learnt a lot about cheating, about honesty.
I think
about
there were embedded values.
absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. Which I find my children never had that, and I don't think it's taught in school anymore. And there's so much competition in the world today. So there's a lot of cheating that happens as
Yeah.
well, which is why I'm saying integrity and honesty. I think that's very important.
Yes.
Lovely, lovely. All right. So it was really nice talking to you about late Jaisimha Garu, your entire service that you're doing. I was not aware completely of it, but I think it's the need of the hour, like the need of this generation.
Yeah, it's called Elder Aid.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think I am grateful to have known you all, known
Oh,
the
so
journey.
sweet. Thank you so much.
Known about the
Thank you
kind
so
service you're doing, and hopefully we're going to get volunteers who are going to come in and learn and be a part of your beautiful journey.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Very much. Thank you.
Thank you for being on board. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.